Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here then hello, my name is Ezra and I make videos about art, animation, crafts, and my OCs, so feel free to stick around if any of that is even slightly interesting. Digital art, specifically 2D digital art, has been my main medium for years now and I'm very comfortable with it. However, I do remember being about 11 and initially unsure of how to properly get into digital art. If you've been using only traditional mediums, making that jump can seem daunting and also very expensive. I believe that art should be as accessible as possible to anyone who's interested in it. So for today's video, I will go through a step-by-step guide on how to get into digital art, including budgeting, hardware, software, and any extra tips and tricks. While my main focus is in 2D illustration, these tips will apply to any art done digitally, so graphic design and 3D will be included, though I'm not the best person to ask about what makes a good 3D design. With all that said, let's start with a budget. Figuring out a budget should be based on two key things: what do you need, and obviously how much can you spend. For starting digital art in any form, you will need some sort of laptop, PC, or tablet/iPad. And if you're using a laptop or a PC, you're gonna need a graphics tablet, and then your software of choice. Before shopping around, I'd recommend calculating how much money you can spend. Obviously, this is extremely personal and comes down to your own needs and financial situation, but a general rule of thumb is if you've done no digital art before, don't go spend an obscene amount of money, especially because there's a chance this might not be something you'll keep up long term, which is fine, but you know, sunken costs fallacy. You might feel less pressured if you don't spend as much money. But with all that in mind, let's take a look at some hardware, starting with laptops and PCs. I am not an expert on hardware at all, but there's a few things to keep in mind when selecting a laptop or PC. Deciding on your operating system is the first thing, and that's usually simple enough. This just comes down to what you're most used to using. You know, if it's Windows, Mac, Chrome is an option. I know Linux is an option. I'm not even going to pretend I know anything about that. Just pick whichever one you're most comfortable with. In my case, it's Windows. Fucking hate Windows 11. If you plan on using software that involves a lot of heavy work, you're gonna want to find a PC or a laptop with about 8 to 16 gigabytes of RAM. I'm being generous with 8. Realistically, 16 is the sort of starting mark, but I mean, with the price of RAM nowadays, I mean, just get what you can. I mean, like, fuck me. You're also going to want a Core i5 or i7 processor. This is basically the stuff that dictates the overall speed and to what degree things will run relatively smoothly. Naturally, a more powerful computer will be more expensive, so shop around both online and in physical shops. Trying secondhand options is also a good idea, especially with the price of RAM. A similar mindset can be applied to choosing a tablet or iPad. Though more expensive for a less powerful piece of tech, the main pro is that you can draw directly on the screen, and obviously it's far more portable. That's another thing. How often are you going to be traveling with your stuff? If you plan on just staying put, then you know, you're fine with just a PC, but if you're going to be moving around a lot, you probably don't want to be lugging all that with you. Or maybe you do, I don't know. Finding a drawing tablet is a similar process. A tablet with more pen pressure is ideal, as you can get better quality drawings overall and have a lot more control over the pen, and some tablets have a screen and some don't. Screen tablets are more expensive, but again, you don't need to use another monitor or screen. I use a screenless tablet because A, it was more affordable, B, it's better for my posture so I don't look like a shrimp, and C, it's pink, and I like the color pink. The most popular tablet brands are Wacom, Huion, and XP Pen, but there are so many other options. If you like using shortcuts in softwares, then a tablet that has a lot of buttons that can be configured might be the best option for you. I've used Huion, Oogie, I think that's how you say it, and XP Pen, and personally XP Pen has been my preferred choice, but that's just a personal taste. Once again, shop secondhand. In uni, a student had this super cool massive screen tablet with a ton of hotkeys and a super crisp screen that she got for only a couple £100, which is insane given tablets of this build go for thousands. So yeah, look secondhand or ask people if they know someone, because again, it's expensive. So now that we have the hardware sorted, what software are you going to use? I'll give a few options available for 2D and 3D, with pricing ranging from basically free to a few thousand. For free 2D options, there's Fire Alpaca, which I use for drawing. There's Medibang, which is made by the same company. Krita, which is also built for animation, and I've started using for animation. GIMP, which can also be used for photo editing. And IBIS Paint, which can also be used on mobile. Inexpensive options include Rough Animator for frame-by-frame 2D animation. I have used this one before. I will make a separate video on how to use it, but it's a decent option. Toon Squid, although I'm pretty sure that's just for Apple products, Procreate, which I don't know if you can get on everything, and apps like Clip Studio Paint, which you can pay for monthly or pay a larger amount for a lifetime subscription. If digital art is only something you're trying for the first time, I would recommend using free softwares, or if paying, just pay for a month or a free trial, just to see if it's something you like using. 3D options include Blender for 3D modeling and animation, and 2D animation with its grease pencil tool, and it's completely free. Nomad Sculpt, which is about €30 and is mostly used for sculptures. I see a lot of people who use 3D printers use this to like model what they're going to print. And Maya, which is used for 3D modeling and animation and is very professional. I would try free softwares before looking into it. Hi, additional notes. So Adobe things are also an option, but the whole fiasco with Adobe Animate was something, so I do question the security of using Adobe things. Admittedly, I adore After Effects. It's extremely fun to use, but I have thrown up on screen a couple alternatives. I have not experimented with all of these, so take these with a grain of salt, but yeah, Adobe stuff is iffy, to say the least. While seemingly daunting, getting into digital art is not nearly as tricky as it seems. Hell, apps like IBIS Paint are available on mobile, so you can just go draw now. Like now. Go draw! Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, all that good jazz. I hope this was helpful, or at the very least a bit interesting. Feedback in the comments section is always appreciated. Socials are in the description. I post on them a bit more regularly than I used to, so that's nice. Once again, thank you for watching and have a good day or night, 'cause time zones, and bye-bye!